You want to see Gevin's head explode?
How'd you do that, man? That is pretty awesome.
Welcome to episode 2 of Business and Brews. My name is Ryan Smeltz.
I'm Gevin Vinson, and thank you guys so much for joining us. Just like we stated, the mission of this podcast slash YouTube show slash Facebook Live slash smorgasbord of ideas here is to expose different businesses and take a deep dive from the actual perspective of the actual owner as well as professionals in that actual industry. So that way you kind of get a good idea of some of the challenges and some of the things that are incorporated in some of the businesses that you may have questions about. So how's it going, buddy?
How's
pretty good. It going?
Long time no see.
I know, man. Been a little while, right?
Yeah.
Man, it's been so long that we're wearing the same shirt.
Oh, that's a little weird.
Yeah, that is a little
No,
weird.
this is
Yeah.
awkward. Okay. So last episode we talked a lot about me, and there were
That was my favorite episode, actually.
Yeah.
All about Ryan.
So you have a wife and a 3-year-old.
I do.
And if I remember correctly, last week we were holding a conversation. You were talking about the 3-year-old. So tell me about this little.
My little one, yeah, he's 3, about to be 4.
Okay.
Next month in September. So he's a handful. Like we talked about, you're engaged. So once you guys start having kids, man, it definitely it's interesting. But yeah, we're very excited. His first soccer game is next Saturday, so we're extremely excited about that.
3, about to be 4.
Yeah, he'll be 4 in September.
And
yeah.
already pro soccer. Look at that.
I don't know about pro soccer. I think anybody that has kids that age knows that it's not even a soccer game. It's just like 20 kids running around a ball.
You're winning.
Like 20 kids running around a ball in a cloud of dust and nobody scores a goal, but you know the parents get a kick out of it, so that's all that matters, right?
I'm not much of a sports fan, Gevin, but I feel like you just described every soccer game.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
about right. Yeah,
Right.
that's about right. Well, you know that's the original football. You know, it's the real football. Everywhere else except for the United States it's football, but the United States is soccer. You know, but I digress. So what are we drinking today?
Good question. So, because we didn't finish the 6-pack last time, we are still on Sweet Baby Jesus.
Nice,
Which,
nice.
as we talked about in the last episode, is my favorite. It is a chocolate peanut butter porter by Duclaw Brewing Company in Baltimore, Maryland.
So if this was in Spanish, would it be Sweet Baby Jesus?
Probably.
Ah, nice,
I
nice.
think you need an accent or two on it.
Yeah, I think so too. But good choice. I know it is one of your favorites, so definitely good choice. Thanks for bringing it in. So what else is going on? How's business?
Pretty good. Pretty interesting. So let's see. We got a new guy in the warehouse, and he catches on quick. So our goal there is to mold him to kind of become a warehouse manager.
Yeah.
So I think that'll especially help relieve a lot of responsibility off of me and my partner.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How are things going over at the flea market? If you guys don't know, be sure to the flea market at the fairgrounds, correct? The Raleigh Fairgrounds?
Yeah.
So if you're local to the Triangle area in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is where we are, the Triangle area, be sure to stop by and see him at the flea market. Where exactly is it located at the flea market?
So it's spot 10. It's right by Dorton Arena. So if you go to Google and you Google the Bearded Veteran on the map where the pin drops, that's where I am.
Awesome. Yeah, so be sure to check him out there Saturday and Sundays.
Yeah,
Is that right? Yeah.
But people want to know why, because me personally, I don't care about the flea market. The reason why, Gevin.
Personally, I don't care about that flea market. Flea market.
The reason why people should come check it out is for the grunt style t-shirts. They're really popular. The designs are amazing, and a lot of people like to be able to buy the shirt, not pay shipping, and put it on right away.
Yeah.
And there you're
And I don't think I mentioned this in the last podcast, or show. I guess we'll put an episode because we keep saying podcast, and I know this is a podcast, and it's a YouTube video, and it's a Facebook Live, and it's all that other stuff. But I just want to put this out there publicly. Thank you for your service. We
thanks for the
appreciate
support.
it. We appreciate it. If you didn't know, of course, the Bearded Veteran is a veteran. Bombshell. I didn't mean to spoiler alert, right? How many years did you serve?
9 9 months, 9 years, 4 months.
9 years, so we'll call it 10. We'll round it to 10.
I just say 10.
I rounded to 10. So thank you for your service. So we don't take that lightly. So you took a good portion or a good chunk out of your life to actually serve the country, and we salute you on that.
Yeah, definitely. I just had breakfast again with a buddy that I was deployed with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always good to catch up with old friends. Haven't seen him since 2011.
Wow, that's been 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 2019 if you're watching this video in the future. So with flying cars and all the other stuff. So. Hopefully the robots haven't taken over yet. That's.
So Gevin, in the last episode, you
can't use my questions. Are you looking at my questions?
That's a wall.
That's a wall. Oh, okay.
That's a wall.
Okay, fair enough.
So in the last episode, you asked me questions, which are on the wall over there.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do want you to know that I'm a little bit of a wild card. So just
I'm looking forward to that.
Just roll with it.
Looking forward to it.
So because
this is PG, right? Yeah, I think we have to keep this PG, maybe PG-13-ish.
I just work here.
You just work.
I just work here. Because I cheated and answered your first question by bringing this.
Yes.
So you can go ahead and tell everybody what your favorite beer is.
My favorite beer is, my favorite type of beer is, I love lagers and I love pilsners. My favorite beer is a Chimay, which is a Trappist. So that's that's one of my favorites. Yeah, I don't know about that being high class. You got the pinky. For you guys listening to this, he's actually putting his pinky finger. Like sipping a beer. No, but that's one of my favorites. But the everyday one, especially this time of year, is Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
Okay, I can appreciate it.
They just released it, and it was one of the first things I did when I saw it in the grocery store. Was pick it up. Gotta go.
Nice.
So that is one of my favorites, man.
I like that. So I think the other day, 2 weeks ago, when you drove over to my office, was the first time I've seen the Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've had that forever or what, but my question is that your dream car if it's not, what is?
That is not my dream car. Anyone that knows me knows that my dream car is a Porsche 911, which I will have very soon. I love Porsches. I've had quite a few cars because I spent quite a bit of time in the car business. So, as anybody in the car business knows, you kind of can't be in the car business without having a ton of cars. But I've had the Jeep now for over a year, and that's probably been the longest I've kept a vehicle in a long time. Usually I'm about a year and done, but now that I'm out of the car business, we have to be a little bit more pragmatic. So, but yeah, definitely Porsche 911 is the short-term goal. Long-term goal, as far as my favorite car, is a Ferrari 488. So that's me. I love sports cars, so I don't know what that's about, but
I dig it.
Yeah, you dig it.
Yeah.
What about you, man? What is your favorite car? I've never even asked you that question.
I own it.
You own it?
It's a 2001 Cobra SVT.
Okay, so you're a Mustang guy.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna say the F word in here. For everybody, that's Ford. That's not what you're thinking. There's a 4-letter F word, but it's Ford. Usually I don't try to curse on our podcast, but Ford.
Fix or repair daily.
That's
fix
right.
on race day. We get it.
Yeah, found on road dead. I've got a ton of them.
Mine's still up at my brother's right now, actually, because I got to get a fuel regulator for it.
Yeah.
But that's because in 2012, when I got back from Germany, I went to Fort Hood, and it wasn't fast enough. So
yeah,
we put a 70mm forward-facing turbo in it.
That's awesome.
And it fixed the problem.
That's pretty awesome.
Or caused more.
Yeah, I love that.
One or the other.
Yeah, that's a great question. I haven't asked that question in a long time, actually.
Okay. So I met you in the Amazon meetup where you did e-commerce. You did cars before this, but what I want to know about your career and your work life is really like where you started. So what was your first job, and like what was that like for you?
Oh my God, that's I started working when I was 14.
Okay.
And I worked for my father detailing cars, summer, spring, fall, winter, all the seasons.
Hold on, where did you live?
I was here. I'm actually originally from this area. Believe it or not. I'm originally from Raleigh, so I'm Italian. Believe it or not, I'm Italian. Yeah, so. Yeah, so that was here locally. That was my first job. I did that, of course, while I was in high school, and had a number of jobs before then. I was in my senior year of college when I started in the car business. So I was actually 20, about to turn 21. So I did that and started there selling cars. Started as a salesperson, just like everybody else did. Was promoted to business development manager, finance manager, sales manager, and kind of went through the ranks as far as that's concerned. So that was kind of life up until real estate for the most part, or e-commerce. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then I met this beautiful piece of band candy called the Bearded Veteran, and then we're here.
You might want to be careful. You remember I have a fiance. So e-commerce. So I told you on the last episode that I got involved by the Gary Vaynerchuk video.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get involved in selling Amazon FBA?
I actually got involved because when I exited the car business, I decided it was because of the time. I was working 60 or 70 hours a week, and I just wanted to be home more. I wanted more flexible schedule. Felt like I was missing too much because at the time Nicholas was maybe a year and a half old, and I felt like I was missing a lot of time with my son and my family, and just kind of want to be home more. So I was looking at different avenues in order to generate income that didn't require me to be in one place all the time for an extended period of time, especially on holidays and nights. So I Googled a bunch of stuff, and stumbled across, I don't even think we even talked about this, but Just One Dime, which is Seth, I can't think of his last name. But yeah, stumbled across that, and some very interesting points they were making. They were talking a lot about private labeling, and that's how I stumbled across retail arbitrage and online arbitrage and wholesale and all the other things.
I'm digging, man. So you said online arbitrage. We already know a little bit about retail arbitrage.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to explain online arbitrage a little bit?
Online arbitrage, so we talked about retail arbitrage last time. Online arbitrage is essentially the same as retail arbitrage. The only difference is you're using software and tools in order to find the different manufacturers or the different stores that are selling those products online, and then sending them into Amazon. And that's kind of the business model. There is a lot of benefits to it, but there are also a lot of drawbacks. The probably the biggest drawback that I found was it was hard to stay consistent as far as finding good products. Whereas with retail arbitrage, you can actually physically touch them.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was off as far as model numbers or different models or series or different products itself. So you relied a lot on what the description online said versus what it actually was.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm going to enjoy this next question as well. It's similar to the car question. So
Okay, I like that.
This guy I know, Dave Bowdock, and I'm just going to tell you this quick story because I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But he talks about, I'm going to shorten it. So he talks about taking his daughters to Disneyland,
Mm-hmm.
and they get down there and he was like, what should we do? And everybody said, you need to take your daughters to have breakfast with the princess.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't really understand that, but then he did it, and that's because when you go to Disney World or Disneyland, I get them confused, and you have breakfast with the princesses, it's an experience.
Right.
So what happens is when you bring your daughters in there, the kids, the princess gets down and talks to them, and they look exactly like they do in the movies, and it's, I want to say he said it was like $80 per person.
Right.
So the point that this guy, David Bowdock, was making is that he is talking to a classroom full of contractors, plumbers, electricians, HVAC technicians, okay? And the point he was making is what you provide, selling houses, selling cars, doing e-commerce, is breakfast.
Right.
People can get that anywhere.
Right.
You can get it at Waffle House, IHOP, or with the princesses.
Right.
So in a world of breakfast, be a princess.
Right. I like that.
I really appreciated his version of the story is much more in depth,
Mm-hmm.
and he does an excellent job at telling it. But I really like the point that he makes there.
Right.
So my question, because John Mulaney, one of my favorite stand-up comics, tells us about his best meal ever. Thinking about the story I just told as it relates to experience and not your mom's cooking.
Not my mom's cooking?
Experience.
Maybe my
So
mom's cooking?
it could be. It could be. But I want to know, experience-wise, what was your best meal ever?
Best meal ever? I would say the best meal ever was last year. My wife and I went to Capitol Grill for our anniversary, right here in North Hills. I mean, just phenomenal. And, you know, the food was great. It was phenomenal, but it was more the customer service that really wowed me at that place. So that was my best meal ever. You know, plus it just was a good occasion for us to celebrate our anniversary, and, you know, good food, good customer service. It was good. Good night out. We had a babysitter. It was awesome. So if you have any kids, you know what a babysitter does for you. It's awesome. You know, to have a kid-free night. Those are few and far in between. So, you know, that was amazing.
I gotta check that place out. A girl that bought some dresses at the flea market today works there.
Oh, really?
And that's a Darden restaurant.
Yeah.
I know what they're doing.
Yeah. It's phenomenal. You should definitely go there.
Okay.
Take Toy with you.
Okay. Yeah.
I had to throw that in there.
If she gets hungry, then
yes.
I'm probably already dead. So. All right. So Gevin, let's get real in depth for a second. So.
Okay.
So you're in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to ask you a ton of hardcore questions.
Okay.
Number one is getting into real estate.
Mm-hmm.
What are some things that you found out when you started doing real estate that just came out of left field?
I think one of the things that was the biggest surprise to me was how competitive the marketplace is. We are in this, I don't think a lot of people understand like how blessed we are to live in this area, because this area is sought out nationwide by investors and so many other people, because the cost of living is great. You have access to the mountains, you have access to the beach, you have, phenomenal jobs that are available in this area, you have phenomenal universities. There's a lot of things that draw a lot of attention to this area. Mm-hmm. So as a result, real estate is hot in this area because the cost of living is not that great when you compare it to other markets like New York, California, other parts of the Midwest. It's not as expensive, and it's appreciating not at a rapid pace, but it's appreciating at a good pace, a healthy pace at least. So there are a lot of agents that are out there assisting clients, and one of the things that kind of caught me off guard was the number of agents, and also the number of agents that don't take it seriously. To me, it's very serious, and the reason why I even got into real estate was I'm very big on helping people build wealth and showing people and helping people out. And there's no better feeling to me than assisting someone with purchasing their first home, their second home, their third home, or fourth home, because I know at the end of the day, that's one of the ways that they're able to build generational wealth. And I think that that's something that our generation, I think we're kind of like at that crest of like Gen X and millennials. I think that, if I look at the last statistics, we actually are one of the generations that is at the highest percentage of renters, because not a lot of people are buying homes because they're strapped with student loan debt. It seems to be the big thing. So that was one of the things that, really surprised me. And one of the things that keeps me going is that feeling of helping people out.
Interesting. I like it.
Yeah.
So you go to real estate school,
Mm-hmm.
you learn how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
How did you end up here at Keller Williams?
Great question. To anyone that's interested in getting their real estate license, so here's how the process works. You go to a course, a real estate school. Of course, you want to do your research because there are a ton of them out there. I'm not getting paid for any of this, but I went to Go Realty, which is an affiliate of Better Homes and Garden, in Raleigh. They have a phenomenal school, I thought, just based on everything after meeting the instructor, very hands-on. That's about a 75-hour class, so it took about a month and a half because I was doing it Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Okay.
You pass the class test, and then after you pass the class test, after you actually do the whole class, that's when you're able to actually get you're actually able to take the state test. So after clearing all those hurdles, what I did was I should interview 4 of the firms in the area, the larger firms, and Keller Williams is where I felt comfortable. The biggest thing that I wanted was training and support, and that's what they provided, especially being, newly into real estate. Definitely it's been a good fit. The people are great, the office is great, it's professional, but still it has that family feel.
Nice. I dig it.
You like it? Like it a lot.
I'm always interested because selling houses is something that I've thought about doing. I'm probably not going to do it, but because I'm a sales guy and sales, I love sales. So Tom Hopkins on YouTube, How to Master the Art of Selling Anything, is one of my favorite YouTube videos, and that's what he did. So I don't know. In retrospect, I feel like I didn't have to say that, but.
Yeah, no.
Tom Hopkins, yeah.
No, I mean, I hadn't even heard of Tom Hopkins, so that's a good resource.
Yeah, so you haven't seen that video?
No, I haven't seen it.
You should watch that video.
I gotta watch
I love that video. One of my other favorite sales guys is actually Herb Cohen, which at the beginning of his video, he wrote a book called You Can Negotiate Anything. And so if you get on YouTube and look that up, he says at the beginning of the video that his name is different than Herb Cohen, like his legal name. But I still haven't researched that to find out if it's actually true or not. But that's another interesting video if you're in sales. I love those two videos.
Yeah. A lot with, honestly, I don't even really consider it sales as much as assisting people, because you have so many different tools and so many different resources to actually purchase a home or give you an idea of like what you need to know. But the problem is there's too much information out there, and you kind of need someone to help you through the actual process that understands everything and actually is there for your best interest. So I think that's the service that I ultimately provide. I mean, I don't really see myself as a salesperson as much as someone that is a customer advocate. Whether you're looking at purchasing a home, I'm out for trying to get you the best deal possible. If you're looking at selling your home, I'm out to get you the best deal possible when it comes to selling your home for the best terms. So I think that at the end of the day, that's what it's really about. It's about the relationship piece. It's about getting to know people and understanding exactly what they're looking to accomplish and assisting them with actually accomplishing that, not just making a quick dollar.
Definitely. Well, people would hate you if you did.
Exactly. Your reputation.
That's a long and short of it. I think any sales job is basically what you just described. If you approach it properly, otherwise, maybe you're just wasting your time.
That's right.
Okay, so earlier you mentioned, I think this was off camera, you mentioned you've been here about 10 months. So you're coming up on 1 year.
I am.
Okay, so if Gevin could go back and talk to Gevin, what would you say?
I would go back and say consistency. Consistency is key in everything that you do. And with anything, any new challenge that you're taking on, you're really trying to figure it out, and you stumble through, okay, this didn't work, or this didn't work. You try this for a little bit, you try that for a little bit. Just staying consistent. With whatever plan that you have, stay the course and just be consistent. And because I think you get in there and you try to reinvent the wheel, just do the basics brilliantly. It'll all come.
Yeah, definitely. So the next question you asked me.
Oh, okay. It's on the wall.
Yeah. Darn wall.
Yeah. You guys can't see the wall, but
it says what are some of the challenges you face? Yeah. So let's. I want to know about the biggest one you saw when you got started, and I want to know one that you're dealing with right now.
The biggest challenge that I had when I started was getting people to flip their mindset when they thought about me. I spent so much time in the automotive industry that people, 13 years is quite a while. So people when they thought about me, they thought about cars. So I would get, I still get calls of people asking me, okay, I'm at this car dealership, they're giving me this rate, they give me this price. I still get those calls all the time, like, what do you think? But just really getting people to understand that I do real estate now, and these are the things that I'm passionate about now, and really, I guess you would say, rebranding myself.
Yeah.
In the beginning was a challenge, and I'm still in the process of doing that. Just still really trying to rebrand myself and really put out there that this is what I'm passionate about, and every day I'm absorbing more and more knowledge to become more and more knowledgeable about this industry, because it's my craft, it's my passion, it's what I do day in and day out, it's what I eat, sleep, and breathe. So that's why I feel like I'm a valuable resource to anybody. One of the biggest challenges now that I'm facing in my particular business is the amount of noise that's out there. And what I mean by noise is, just like we talked about before, there's so much information out there. If you're a buyer or a seller, you never know what's true and what's kind of true, and it's so much information out there that I think sometimes it's very easy to get confused. And with that, I guess some of the things that pop to my mind are things like Open Door and Knock and Redfin and some of the other disruptors in our industry, which I think there's a time and place for a lot of that stuff, but it's just customers understanding exactly what they're getting themselves into and really getting the most value out of whatever they plan to, or whatever they're looking to accomplish.
I like it.
You like it? You dig it?
Yeah, I'm thinking, because I was going to ask you this earlier, but I guess how do you deal with that? What does it look like when a client comes in and talks about those third-party services you talked about, and how do you, I guess in the sales industry we would say, how do you overcome that, but how do you approach it? Like, what do you do with that?
Head on. I mean, I'm not, me personally, I'm very big on doing what's right. And if it makes more sense for you to do it another way, I mean, I will give you 2 examples of where I gave somebody advice or gave clients advice that didn't directly benefit me, because they were either working with another agent or going another direction, and working with another firm. But it was the right thing to do, because I wanted to make sure that they at least had all the information to make an informed decision, at least from my perspective. Because at the end of the day, I feel like if you help enough people, all the other stuff will work itself out. I mean, I generally want to help people and help give them whatever information that they're searching for, and all that information they need in order to make an informed decision. That way, it can actually help better their family. That's all I want to do.
Definitely.
Yeah. So that's in a nutshell.
That's cool, man. I had a guy recently actually would sit down and look at what I had existing and tell me, well, this right here, we can help you in this way, and this way, but this one, yeah, you should just keep that. And I was like, you got me.
Yeah.
Sold. He knows what I care about. So
I think the biggest one that the real estate industry is facing right now is a lot of the iBuyers, like your Open Doors and your Knocks and some of the other ones like that. And me personally, I don't know how other people feel about this. I encourage my clients to get all the information from them. Let me sit down and show you what I can do, and we'll compare. And whichever way makes the most sense, we'll go that direction. If it makes more sense for you to do it the wholesale route, then we'll do it that way. If it makes more sense to do it the traditional way of going through, hiring a realtor and actually selling your home, then we'll do it that way. But at least you have that option of knowing which one makes more sense for you, and which one you kind of know the pros and cons of both. I mean, because just like anything else, I mean, I just want to give you all the information so you can make an informed decision.
Nice. So with these third-party services, and I refuse to name them because they're machines. They're a facilitator. So, but my question is, have you seen a pattern where they more benefit a seller or a buyer than the other one?
No, I haven't. No, I mean, because when you sit down and really take a look at the numbers, I mean, if you look at with their business model, it's very similar to the business model of a wholesaler. I.e., if you've ever seen those signs on the side of the road that say "We buy houses cash," quick closes, all that other stuff. It's the same exact concept. It's just revolutionized or repackaged into an e-commerce version or an actual internet version. It's essentially what it is. I mean, because there still is going to be, they're not going to give you retail value for your home. They're not going to do it without any fees. A lot of times the fees are higher than if you were to put it on the market yourself, and you're going to net less money. So it's kind of counterproductive. But again, we'll look at it all every opportunity there. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. So what with this real estate venture, what is your vision for the future?
My vision for the future is just like I said. I mean, real estate is for me is the quickest way to build generational wealth. So through real estate, I want to help other people as well as build my family legacy. Anyone close to me knows that the one word that drives me every day is legacy. It's just providing for my family and making sure that my son has opportunities and is advanced further along in this life than I was when I started. I mean, that to me at the end of the day is the thing that drives me, gets me out of bed every morning. So, at the end of the day, for me personally, it means investing in real estate. For me as a real estate agent, it means building that brand and being that person that's there to assist other people.
Okay.
Help them through the process.
So I've looked around the office here, and I know a handful of people that do similar things. Do you intend on staying somewhat solo, or are you going to build a team, or are you going to brand that? What does that look like?
To be determined.
Okay.
There are a lot of things that I'm working on right now, and a lot of and anyone in real estate can probably relate to this. That first year is tough, and you're really trying to figure things out, and trying to get your feet up under you. But this is a long-term investment, and I'm putting in the work now. And there are some things that we have in the works that I'm very excited about. I won't share here, but it'll be coming pretty soon.
To be I like it, man. So if it weren't for our amazing, phenomenal, and highly educational podcast, what would you normally be doing on a Saturday night?
On a Saturday evening, I would probably be checking my emails, responding to emails, spending time with, it's almost 9 o'clock now, so I would be, my wife and I would probably be chasing my son around the house, trying to get him into the bath, take a bubble bath, and at which time we'd have to convince him to get out of the bubble bath and go to bed. So that would probably be our normal routine right now. That's what I would be doing. It would be me checking emails and a lot of loud noises coming from my son and my wife running around trying to get in the bathtub. So.
Get in, get out.
Yes.
Okay.
And dinner as well, yeah. It'll probably be a little late dinner for him as well. So Saturdays he gets to hang out until a whopping 9:30, I think it is. So on Saturday.
So that's Saturday. So what do you normally do throughout the week? Like, what does your typical routine look like? Because obviously you work here.
Mm-hmm. Typically, I try to go to the gym in the morning. After the gym, back home, shower, change, take my son to daycare, drop him off, come to the office, work until maybe 5, 6 o'clock, go home, spend a little bit of time with the family, back at it as far as working and reading maybe, and usually I'm asleep by about 10 o'clock or so, usually 10:30 at the latest, because the day starts pretty early.
Yeah.
Starts pretty early, so.
You said reading, so what are you currently reading?
Right now I'm reading Principles by Ray Dalio. He's one of my mentors. Well, he's one of the guys I look up to as far as investing. Every Keller Williams agent is reading the $1 million the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, which is a very good read for any real estate agent. Definitely talks a lot about processes and procedures. And those are the 2 books I'm reading right now.
Who's the second one?
The Millionaire Real Estate Agent.
Who's it by?
It's by Gary Keller.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. By Keller Williams, by Gary Keller. And also, I'm rereading. I actually have the 3-part series of Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's like the investment strategies, and there's one more involved in the book, but I'm always constantly reading pieces out of that book. Yeah, it always
Is it the cash flow quadrant?
Yeah, cash flow quadrant, and then there's something else. I forget what the other one is, but it's like 3 in 1.
No.
Yeah, so that's what I'm currently reading. How about yourself, man? I feel like we're talking a lot about me.
So I am reading Finish by John Acuff, and have been for longer than I should be, so I should probably finish it. which is interesting because the guy that gave it to me lent it to me. He got it signed by John Acuff, because John Acuff is his favorite author. And halfway through the book, I found out that John Acuff wrote a book called Start. So I found.
You gonna finish and start with starting?
Yeah. Well, I found a copy of it. Because that's a small portion of my business is books.
Yeah.
So I found a copy and I set it to the side. And it's a hardback copy. So I messaged him and I'm like, "Hey man, do you have this book?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "A hard copy." And he said, "Yeah, I have it on Audible." And I'm like, "Yes."
There you go.
So I set it to the side. I was like, "Cool, now he's got a hard copy of it."
Yeah.
Then I found another one. So now I have one too.
There you go. Yeah. I love it, man. I love it.
I gotta finish and start with start. and also the cash flow quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. Those two are in the bathroom. So
yeah, I think that's kind of a staple is the Rich Dad Poor Dad. I mean that's the book that just changed my mindset on a lot of stuff as far as the way I look at life. So yeah, it definitely is a foundation.
I think one of the most interesting things about Robert Kiyosaki and what he talks about in a lot of his books is the perspective of money.
Yeah.
Because so many people, I feel like you can view it one of two ways. He might say this a little bit different, but as a necessity or as a tool.
Right.
And I honestly believe I'm in the middle of a solid change of that perception of what money is and how I use it.
Right.
Because it's not something you can just do overnight. But
right.
I believe when people, I really wish more people would know about those books so they could read them, because that would definitely change their perspective on it. And once you view it as a tool, like I know this guy I work with, he views it that way. He does not care about money.
Yeah,
he cares about time.
Yeah. Well,
that's his most important thing.
That's the most important asset. Yeah, can't get time back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting. That's why I'm really excited to learn from him, and I'm, seeing the culmination of all of these things come together is pretty interesting.
It's very awesome.
Definitely. Well, I think I'm about done with my beer, so I guess that's episode 2. Huh?
That's episode 2, man. It's been good. Yeah, I'll drink to that. Thank you, Ron, again for coming and helping me out. I guess we'd be like both co-hosts, right? Like, yeah, be both co-hosts. Yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Making it up as we go.
Yeah, we're gonna have to come up with a cool extra, like a cool outro,
Yeah.
Exit to the show.
Yeah.
Any good quotes you've heard of the past couple of weeks?
Oh, that's a good question. My quote guy actually moved back home to Indiana, so no.
Oh, okay, no.
Yeah. I'll have to have a talk with him.
Yeah. I guess you could do something generic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How about hard work works?
Yeah, I like that one.
You like
Think
that one?
big, aim high, act bold.
I like it.
Gary Keller.
That's right. Right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, guys.